really descriptive tags, right? Really, he kind of gives us some tidbits, some signs or criteria to watch out for the teachers he's talking about. And this is not the only place in Scripture where false teachers are addressed. So I think you'll see other places where it's treated with a little less severity than what Peter's really coming after it, right? These are really bad people, okay? Which I think is, there's other places where it talks about, hey, handle the word carefully or handle the word, responsibly in season and out of season, being prepared at all times. You see different scriptures that aren't quite so dire, but Peter is being very harsh and he's being very specific. So if you look in verse 1, these teachers he's talking about, they secretly bring in destructive heresies, even denying the master who bought them. So he gives us a hint that they deny Jesus, right? They're denying Christ's place in the gospel. And that description fits a number of different heresies at the time and since and today and tomorrow and continuing on. But then he starts with some other descriptions. In verse 2, he says they're going to follow their sensuality, right? In verse 10, he says that they are going to have lust of defiling passion, and they're going to despise authority. So we have sensuality, and then we have lust and the despising of authority, so rejecting authority. In verse 13, it says they're going to count it pleasure to revel in the daytime. They're going to take pleasure from in the open, in the daylight, reveling, right, or disobeying. The next verse 14, they have eyes full of adultery, insatiable for sin. It says later on in that verse, they have the word sensual again, sensual passions of the flesh. In verse 19, it talks about slaves of corruption. So you can kind of see that there's some things he's going after a lot. 4 or 5 of those tags all revolve around the idea of sexual sin, right, of sensuality, of lust. If you look